I'm Dr. Berry, licensed psychologist, and here I share legal and entertainment news from a psychological perspective. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the lurkers, to everybody that's watching. This case is a heavy one because it involves essay, it involves children, it involves CP, so child, and it is extremely troubling. It also, there are two individuals that are not here anymore because of Alexander McCartney's actions. So, the individual at the center of all of this, his name is Alexander McCartney. He is from Northern Ireland and he was sentenced recently. So, because this was October 25th, so he was sentenced last week to a minimum of 20 years in prison after being found guilty by a UK court in what is being described as one of the biggest criminal catfishing cases in the country. He's currently 26 years old and he pled guilty to a charge of manslaughter in Northern Ireland related to the death of a little girl from West Virginia. So, Cimarron Thomas, so that's her name, Cimarron Thomas. Let me go ahead and share this article that I'm reading from. It has some words that the tube won't like, but that's okay. We don't mind. We're gonna share it anyway. Share screen. And my heart truly breaks for this family. Um, so Cimarron, it was 12 years old, and what happened is he would pretend to be a little girl and he would request images from the child, and then once he received one, he would then say, "If you don't continue to send me images, then I'm gonna post what you've already sent me." And then he would go on to say he would try to get them to involve other people. I do not believe Cimarron ever involved anybody else, but he would have the child creating CP and sometimes with like other children. And this was all to avoid their parents finding out. And that is where I want my child to know that there is nothing, absolutely nothing he can do where he can't come to me. And if my child made a mistake. So to me, like she was a little girl, another little girl at like she 12 years old sent an image, and he is the adult who is breaking the law. He is the one who is soliciting, and I don't know if he distributed what he got. I don't know what he did with it, but he ended up there are allegations that there are over 3,000 children globally that we know of that he catfished and would exploit in this way. Her case became prominent because, unfortunately, the harassment because he would continue to bombard them. I believe it was on Snapchat. I believe he used Snapchat to communicate with them, and, because of that, she didn't think that she could escape it. And I know her parents, if she had went to her parents and said, "I made a mistake. This is what happened," like, her parents would want her to still be here because, uh, I anytime any of my clients have a device, I talk with them about what to do when somebody asks them for an inappropriate picture. Not if, it's when. When somebody asks, what are you going to say? And then if somebody isn't leaving them alone, to agree to talk with an adult to let their parent know. And they I don't tell the person, My parents went through my phone and they saw your messages," or my parents know how to go through deleted messages. I don't care. But no matter what, I would want my child to know there's nothing you can do. The adult, whoever's asking for it, they are the ones breaking the law. You cannot do not send a picture of yourself. That is child P. Like that is illegal. Do not do it. Even the suggestive, because sometimes I've worked with clients that have sent, it's not quite, but they've sent suggestive pictures, and even in the like that can be an issue, and so you have to have these conversations, and as a parent, I have to not flip out. Because as a parent, the gut reaction could be to just take the phone, and they never ever have access to any device ever in life. Now, kids are learning things that so I remember I was on AOL Messenger when I was in college. And we would chat back and forth, and we had to learn the boundaries of, oh, people aren't always who they say they are. But now, kids have phones. There are these different apps. There are all these other things. And so you have to have these conversations. And then I also just wanted to share, so her family did not know why, what was the reason. And I believe her father was a veteran, and she died in May of 2018. And then her father, oh gosh, okay. And the guy, so Alexander was trying to coerce her into sending graphic images involving a younger sibling. And I think she felt stuck. I really do. I think she didn't know what to do. She didn't know who to talk to. But her father, a US Army veteran, died 18 months later, not knowing the circumstances of of her of her death. And I just this is a tough one. I appreciate, so somebody sent me this one, and I am glad. I have not watched the Sweet Bobby on Netflix, so I've had to. There've been a lot of heavy cases lately. There's been a lot of heavy stuff lately, and so I did watch the Love Is Blind reunion, and I had to like pin a comment. So Steven really did have a sleep study, because I laughed so hard at the idea that he showed up drunk to a sleep study, but I guess he did. They had pictures of him at the sleep study, so okay. So I've been just watching things that are just a little bit lighter. But um I think it's important for parents to have conversations, and then to not overreact when you find something. So like kids are gonna make mistakes, but I want my child to know there's nothing my child can do where where I'm going to hate, because sometimes the individual that's the harmful person, the abuser, the person that is asking might say, your parents will never forgive you. You don't want your parents to know about this, like all of those things. Um, uh, so it's my understanding. So there were so many cases. I think the manslaughter charge was for her, because his actions resulted in her death. Um, but I did not see anything, because I've been following this, and let me keep reading the article. The sheer scale of this case was horrific, and the harm it caused, particularly to the young girls, makes it one of the worst that the investigator has ever seen. A detective on the case issued a statement calling McCartney nothing but disgusting. Okay, so let's go on ahead and plaster his face on the internet, because we didn't see him yet. Um, Nothing but a disgusting child P, who was posing as young girls online to groom, manipulate, and essay his victims as young as 4, for his own sick reasons. And so So, he was found guilty in a Belfast court of 185 charges involving 70 victims. So um, that was what they were able to prove. His crimes occurred between 2014 to 2019, when it's believed he targeted over 3,000 victims, mostly on Snapchat, all over the world. Excuse me. Um, the case in Belfast Crown Court focused on 70 victims, including Simeon Thomas. There was no immediate response on Friday to the verdict from Snapchat. Yeah. There have been lawsuits filed against Instagram, against TikTok, against all of these different platforms, and that's where it's important to have conversations with your kids. So important. And if you see a change in your child, I would get them into therapy, and I would take a look at that phone. Yes, so that's how he gained their trust. He gained their trust by posing as a girl. That's how he gained. They wouldn't have they w and that's sneaky. Like, that is I've heard of people pretending to be like a little boy, but that is super, super. So I do not treat those type of predators. That is the one thing that I can't be neutral about. I can't so I couldn't be his therapist. No, because he needs to do sex offender treatment and like maybe be like that's a whole other thing that no. I've worked with children that have been victims themselves, and they've maybe had like there was maybe one or there but they're not to the point of needing residential care. I was involved with cases where a sibling offended a sibling, and I was involved in after the siblings or the individuals involved did treatment. They were trying to have some type of family reunification, and so we put alarms on door, like we did all these things, and the person successfully or the people they successfully complete treatment, and we talk about reintegration and I'm into the home. I very much side with the victims, and so that's why I don't treat individuals of that type of harm. I just don't. There are people that do, and there's special treatment. So for youth under the age of 16, there is something called like sexually reactive, where a youth is showing signs they've engaged in some inappropriate behaviors, and so there is some treatment for youth offenders, and then there is treatment for adults. Adults end up on registries, which is and there's a reason for that because they are at a very high risk if given the opportunity to potentially reoffend. And yeah, very, 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 very difficult case. Um, uh, and then there was another one that I wanted to talk about because it was an AI chatbot. Um, and the mom is suing because her 14-year-old fell in love with the chatbot, and then the chatbot kept asking the teen to come home, and the teen ended up dying by S. And so I wanted to talk about this one as well. I do think chatbots are going to continue to become more and more popular. And so this is, I'm not sharing the right screen. Oh, I am. Share this tab instead. All right. All right. So this mom, okay, good. Believes that the AI chatbot is responsible for her son's death. And um, she's suing I think is it Google, but character AI. That's who's being sued in this one. And if anyone has ever like if they're having negative thoughts, you can in the US you can text 988, and globally there are international resources for prevention as well. Um, so the mom statement is there's a platform out there that you might not have heard about, but you need to know about it because, in my opinion, we are behind the eight ball here. A child is gone. My child is gone. That's what Florida mother Megan Garcia wishes she could tell other parents about Character AI, a platform that lets users have in depth conversations with artificial intelligence chatbots. Garcia believes Character AI is responsible for the death of her 14-year-old son, who died by in February, according to a lawsuit that she filed against the company earlier this week. He was messaging with the chatbot in the moments before he died. I want them to understand that this is a platform that that the designers chose to put out without proper guardrails, safety measures, or testing. And it is a product that is designed to keep our kids addicted and to manipulate them. So that's her opinion. Um, um, uh, it's marketed as technology that makes that as AI that feels alive. Knowing and so she believes they knowingly failed to implement proper safety measures to prevent her son from developing an inappropriate relationship with a chatbot that caused him to withdraw from his family. The lawsuit also claims that the platform did not adequately respond when he began expressing thoughts of self-harm to the bot. Wow. According to the complaint filed in federal court in Florida. Wow. Okay. And so I wanted to share that one as well because AI is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to be something that people use, and so I've encouraged clients to use um, AI if they need help with rewording something to a friend. So I worked with some people where they come off aggressive when they text or they come off a certain way. And so to use AI just to give them feedback on their tone. But these chatbots where you're having these conversations and you're developing relationships with them, that it can start to feel real. There are adults that have like fallen in love with their AI characters. And so this is something that can definitely happen. And so making sure that you're monitoring. And so that's where I like to share resources and tools because sometimes even the therapist might not fully know how to help a client that's having those kinds of thoughts or that is in this kind of because to the client it's going to feel very real, like they're going to have authentic feelings about this bot, and it can be confusing to adults, and so it can definitely be confusing to a child, to a teenager. And so that's where I just think these are conversations that we need to have. We need to talk about safety. If you're a parent and you notice changes in your child, reaching out for help and support. And so if they start withdrawing, if they start and that's where it can be hard because sometimes in teenage years, sometimes they want to spend more time with their friends. But if what they're withdrawing to is a AI virtual world, I want to make sure that my child is connected in the real world as well. Yes. Um I love that I use AI made for autistic and ADHD folks called Goblin Tools. Nice, been a game changer, really helpful. Thank you for sharing that. That's super cool. Um, and so people can develop parasocial relationships with people online, with characters in games, with any type of person. I think the difference with this is that this is a bot that talks back, and I would think most bots. So if the teen is expressing troubling like that the bot might recognize signs of depression and maybe there's an automatic script of you might need to talk to somebody, or like maybe there's a safety person, or that there's something built in that adds safety. And so that's what I want. Um, uh, and so, Tori, I in the '90s, I had crushes on all kinds of characters on TV, and so, I think that's adorable. Um, Let me know if y'all have any last minute questions. I am glad that I got to chat with you all today. I'm still watching for the Melody Ferris for that verdict. I don't believe it's back yet. Um, I'm definitely watching for that. The closing arguments were powerful, I thought. That is a difficult case out of Georgia, and the family dynamics are so once the verdict's back, I'm going to talk about the family dynamics. I have trouble talking about some of these cases that are so complex with so many family members because I think the defense is blaming one of her sons. So like Melody Ferris, Farris. They're kind of blaming like one of her kids that he might have done this. And jury asked a question and they're deliberating now. Wow. Can you look at what's available on a woman who did that and her kid? Oh, Niagara Falls. I saw that. And so one was 9 years old and one was, like, months old at Niagara Falls. I did see that, and, I don't know that that's where I talk about prevention. I talk about, uh Ah, yeah. I focus on some of those things. It breaks my heart that the 9-year-old likely knew what was coming, and, so my heart breaks for the 9-year-old, for the whole family, especially the 9-year-old. Alright, alright. And also with virtual reality. So, virtual reality can feel really real. And I've had some clients that they've found meaningful, healthy connections online. And we always just check in with safety on have you FaceTimed? Like, do you know these people are who they like? Have you FaceTime with these people? Um, uh, and and so making sure to have those authentic connections in real life too, or making sure to connect online with people that they know in real life. Um, so I talked about postpartum psychosis related to the um, Andrea Yates, Lindsay Clancy cases, and so I will put a link out aften to that video. If I need to share more, let me know, and I can. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Doc, does it seem like we're getting more and more awful cases? So I just think there's more coverage. So I think these things have always been there because if you look at crime stats are going down, but coverage has gone way up. Because even if you look at some of the top shows on Netflix, a lot of them are true crime documentaries. And so that's why anytime I talk about a case, I want to see what can we learn from it? What can we take from it? What can we learn? What can we grow? Like what can we take? And so, aw, uh, uh, and so, Shani, I focus on the people because I know that you feel uh very strongly about one particular person. I I focus on the people that made the decisions. Because Andrea Yates has said that she's not I think she's the one that won't come out of jail. Like, she could possibly be up for release, uh, and she keeps declining being released, and she feels she is where she's supposed to be. And, back in those days, I feel like we have more information about, like, postpartum depression and that it's not normal for people to be having thoughts of harming their children and things like that, and so, it is what it is. And if you ever want to use There is a command, 'cause I to lurk. So if you ever want to lurk, you can do explanation part lurk live, and the Nightbot should do that. If you would ever like to use any commands, because I think anybody should be able to do that. But I feel like a lot of crimes may not be reported, especially as melanated folks have little faith in the police. Yes, a lot of people do. Yeah. Um, and yeah, that can be hard. That can be hard. All right. So that's my coverage for today. Thank y'all for joining me. If you celebrate, if you're giving out candy, if your kiddos are going out and having fun tonight, I hope you all have a safe weekend. Make sure to vote whoever just vote. Have your voice be heard. I voted on Tuesday. Yeah, so just this past Tuesday, my state does early voting, where you do actual ballot and you submit it and everything. And so it makes it super easy. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.